Okay, now I tell you what, folks. I am going to try to catch a great big giant bass on a Cinco. Now, I tell you, that's my favorite lure. You know, if you only had one lure in the whole world, it would have to be a 5-inch Cinco. That one right there is the deal. Now, to tell you how confident I am that there's big fish here, I'm using 65-pound braid. That's an overkill. I mean, this is a big old heavy-duty rod, big old favorite rod. But anyway, that's a big heavy hook. It's a tungsten weight all pegged down. Hey, there's some monsters in this lake. I don't know if I want to catch one, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pitch and flip the reeds. Now, it's a real deep lake. It's all, look right here. I'm just going to show you something, how deep it is. I just want to let it down. Okay, it's right there, it's on the bottom right there. I'll lift my rod up. This rod is 7 foot long, so it's like 7.5 feet deep, and I'm right on the bank. So it's a real deep lake. Okay, so I'm going to go along, and I'm just going to ease along, and I'll start flipping along here. Kind of pitching and a flipping. After a big one, son. Come on out with your fins up. Just drop it down. Just drop it down. I'm just going to kind of, you know, there's kind of two ways to do this. That's a flip, but just kind of holding the line like I just did. In other words, when you flip, you kind of hold your line and you flip like that. That's flipping. Then there's pitching. Now, pitching is when you want to go a little farther. The pitch, you hold the line and you go way out like that, a little bit farther. But I do both, pitching and a flipping. Just see what happens. And I'm doing the right thing with this heavy tackle. If you fish enough little reeds like I'm fishing, and that clump there, that looks really good. I'm gonna drop it. Watch this. I'm gonna kind of pitch it in there like this. Kind of flip it right there. Drop it real quiet. Let it down, 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 down. Just kind of jig it just a little bit. Woo! Son, I didn't bite. Sure looked good though. Okay, boys. Little old bass. Son, got me a fresh mouth, large water black bass on a Cinco. Not much, but hey, you never know when a really big one comes along, because I'm set up for really big ones. And that was nothing to brag about. But hey, maybe we found where they are. Now let it hit the bottom. A lot of times you can, what they call, just let it, you know, just let it dead stick. They call it dead stick. Oh, there's one. I let them sit there. I didn't know I was even getting them. I was just kind of playing around. I wasn't watching. And that tells me something. Hey, what I learned there, that's the second one I've caught on a real long deal where I let it sit there forever and he finally got it. So that means that I'm working it too fast. We just got to slow down. Well, what that tells me is you got to slow down. Now, you know, when they talk about slow fishing, worm fishing, you're talking about it right here. Whatever it is, it's a cold front situation or something's going on where the fish want it really, really, really slow. And that's the second time I wasn't even watching what was happening. I just sat there and sat there and sat there, and he finally got it. So the only problem with that deal, you got to fish so slow, you can't cover much water. Had to go slow with it. That was the whole deal. Kind of twitching it around. It's not a big fish, but the whole point is, I got it figured out now how to catch them. Now, we're not catching the real big ones, but we got it figured out how to catch them. You got to go in there and let it soak and dead stick it and just twitch it around a little bit and just really work it slow with a light weight. Get another worm. Oh, got a good one. I 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 got a good one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Yes, sir. Son, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. He's not real big, but he hit like a big one. He took off like crazy. And that's what it's about. Look how fat he is. This is a neat lake. This lake here has really, proportionally what it is, there's smallmouth and a big fat body like this. That means that they're really growing good. And this water's dark. And what it is, it's kind of plankton or something. I'm gonna let them go. It's kind of a plankton deal. But anyway, hey, there's some good bass in here, son. That was kind of good, but I'm talking about big bass. And let me show you how I'm rigging that worm up. I'm coming through here like this. And I'm coming through. It's a kind of a different hook. It's a way different hook. I come through the thing and push it all the way straight up and come all the way out the end. And then when I turn it back, see how that little piece goes under and holds it in place? And then since I'm using such heavy line, I'm just gonna bear it right in the center of the worm. Just bear it like that, okay. And that 65-pound braid, nice hook set up. Let's see what we can do. If we can't get another one, this time it'll be way big. Like double digit. You know, if you think that way, I know it sounds crazy. That old man's a crazy fool. He thinks he's going to catch a 10-pounder every cast. Okay, that's crazy to think about. But hey, if I think I'm going to catch one every cast, I'm ready. I make a good cast, and I got my drag set right. I'm set. Boy, when I hit that once-a-year deal, I'm ready for him. Okay, this one here, boy. See, it's out away from everything. This is like a little bit better deal right in there. It's out farther than the rest of them. Another one. I'm telling you what, son. That acted like a spawning fish. Because I kept throwing in there, he kept hitting, or something kept hitting in there. I don't know if it was this one or another one or what the heck it was. But something kept hitting the line, and I kept missing them. Big, little bitty mouth, big old fat body. Uh-oh. I'll get you back, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll be so careful of you. I wouldn't let you go. I'll be so careful. Ooh, go back and get big. I'm sorry, dropped them. Okay, now for the double digit, the big boy, the giant. Everything's a giant, and everything's a holiday when the skies are baby blue. Now there's two things about this bank I really like. Number one, the wind's blowing in, and that's sometimes a good thing, the wind blowing in. Number two, there's boulders all along the bank, just a lot of boulders. So there's more boulders here than about anywhere else. So that's a good deal. Just go real slow. That's the whole deal. Just slow, slow, slow. Just twitch it every once in a while. Just let it sit there. Just let it sit there. Dead stick. Yeah, oh, big one, big one, big one, big one. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a bigger fish. That's a bigger fish. Yeah, that's a bigger fish. Yes, sir, son. Now we're talking. That's a bigger fish. Not real big, but look how fat he is and how small the mouth is. So characteristic of a healthy lake. We're talking about a small mouth and a big fat body. So it's probably a pretty young bass, but he's growing good. We'll let him go. There we go, son. You know, I travel all around. I talk about fishing Cincos a lot. And probably the biggest question I think I ever get is, what size weight do you want to use? Well, I want to get through the cover, okay? So you need enough weight so if the wind's blowing hard, it'll bend you over these reeds and stuff, and so you have to have enough weight to pull it down. Well, I'm using a pretty light weight because there's not much wind today. I'm using a 1/4 ounce tungsten. Now, if it was blowing real hard, I'd go to, say, a 3/8 ounce tungsten, or even higher. But see, that's enough. I can throw it right back in there like that, and it pulls it right down just perfect. So it's just right down into the water. There's the one right there. Oh man, it's a good one. It's a good one. Oh, he got off. Oh, son of a gun. Man, did you see the size of that bass? It was a giant bass, about 6 or 7 pounds. It was the big fish of the day. Got off. You don't catch them all. Well, hey, you can't catch them like that every day, but at least you have the opportunity. So remember, slow it down. Hey, get that thing and just barely move it along. Use just enough weight to pull it down. Don't use too much weight. So anyway, that's the YouTube tip of the day. Slow that worm down and use a light weight. And come to Florida and catch a great big one.